Hi guys, my name's Brianna James. Welcome back to Breaking Chains. This is one of my next interviews. It's going to be interview number 4, I think. And this is Dominic Foster.
Hello. All right.
So, hi Dom, how old are you?
I'm 23 years old.
23 years old. And where did you grow up?
I grew up in Westfield, New York, and what happened?
Sorry, just make sure we come over here. But okay, so Dom, I'm on 10%, so this isn't going to be very long. He's going to give you a little talk about what he's gone through, things that have happened in his life, and what brought him into recovery from addiction and a lot of different traumas that have gone on in his life. Okay, go.
Wait, we can't do it like that because then that's hard.
All right, we'll start talking about. Let's talk about a major turning point in your life. Let's talk about that.
All right.
At one point, Dom went through an addiction, and there was a major turning point where this ceased to exist as what it was. And he's going to tell you what worked for him to not continue his addiction.
All right, so truthfully, for a long time, I was actually trying to battle the addiction itself. And I was fighting a losing battle for a long time. Well, at one point in time, I realized once I picked up the Bible and I started reading the Bible that there was another way to fight addiction. And for me personally, it worked. It was the fact that demons actually attach themselves to you through iniquity, which is self-sin. It's sin that you perceive as sin through your own will. Like you think it's sin, so it is. Demons hold on to that. They basically grab you by anything that you feel guilty about or you feel convicted about. And more or less, addiction was one of them things that I felt really guilty about. I always felt like I was in the wrong because of it. Mm-hmm. And literally it got bad. Like I started to get to the point where I was seeing like demons and stuff. I had a lot of mental health issues going on. It got really, really dark, and there was people that were with me that I didn't trust. I thought people were trying to kill me. It literally felt like I was fighting a war. It felt almost like I died every day, and I never died, but it felt every day like somebody was killing me because I always anticipated being killed for some reason. It was something in my head that was wrong. So I started to read the Bible, and slowly as I went through the Bible, literally like it was almost as if these steps were taking layers off from my addiction. Almost to the point where like eventually, like now, I don't even get cravings for like heroin because it literally just wiped away. Like it took the demons that were holding them thoughts on me and whispering in my ear, it took them away completely. Like if you're not spiritually awake, you can't hear. That's
true. That's totally true.
If you have no eyes to see and no ears to hear,
shirt.
What?
She said nice shirt. Keep going.
You can't hear spirits if you don't open your mind to a higher frequency. And
that's true. We're in ascension right now.
And more or less, I started to be able to hear the spirits from reading the Bible, which was scary. But truthfully, like slowly, it started to take away them voices that I was hearing, and everybody thought it was this mental problem that I was having. They thought I was going crazy, which I agree, it did sound crazy. But truthfully, spiritual warfare that's the devil's number one tactic, is to make people believe that it's a mental illness that somebody has. Because if they can believe that they just need to go take more medicine to cure this, then they're not going to actually cure it the way that it's supposed to be cured.
Because the problem's in you.
Yeah.
How do you get rid of it if the problem's in you? You don't.
Back in the day,
One second.
healing was about medicine, spirituality, and doctors. Like now, it's all about medicine and doctors. They don't believe in the spiritual part of a healing process anymore.
Or the ones that do get pushed down or killed or...
And yeah, like you have very dark entities that basically attach themselves. The only way to heal yourself is to remove them demons from you, and the only way to protect yourself from them demons is through the blood of Christ. Another interview
in a couple days. Yeah.
Next weekend.
Next week I'm going to bring him back on, and I think something nice that I heard in his story is he used religion as a good thing instead of a bad thing. This is a thing where we kind of, I don't want to say we differ, but like for me, I've actually become more spiritual and less religious in one manner. So I stopped focusing on labels. I stopped saying that, you know, my God is my God and your God is your God. There is no difference to me. I don't care. You know, whatever you pray to is what you pray to. But if it gets you better at the end of the day, that's all I care about. So when I stopped putting labels on it, for me, that really helped me. So I think a lot of things that are good about, you know, parts of the Bible and parts of Christianity is it teaches us lessons. And a lot of things that I've heard when studying spirituality is that we are in an ascension process. So we are coming to a higher part of consciousness. Right now we're here where we have to get here, right? So in order to get here, there's a lot of different things happening. Some people are going down, like you said, descending, and some people are going up. And when we open our ears and we open our minds to things around us and we listen for the Spirit, or, you know, even if you don't believe in that kind of thing, the higher power per se that is around you, even if it is just a can of Coke sitting in front of you that is your higher power, when you listen for that and you open your ears and your mind to it, that is when you stop believing that everything is in control by you. Because when you believe you're in control, you are only as strong as you are. So if that addiction has a hold over you, you are only that strong. So if you want to be stronger than your addiction, you have to let the power go to somebody else. You have to give it up to a higher power so they can take it from you. Okay, so I'm kind of explaining this, and I don't want to scare you away by, you know, incorporating spirituality or Christianity or any of these things. But when you give that power up to somebody else that you feel is stronger than you and can take care of you, it takes the personal egotistical shell and everything away from you. And when you become smaller, your purpose becomes bigger because you are a part of one. And in order to become a part of one, you have to make yourself smaller. You have to release that ego you have. You have to stop worrying about your looks, about the things that you have, about all these little things in life, because you are just a speck in the bigger picture. But that little speck contributes immensely to the bigger picture, which will be the purpose of this world that we will continue to spin and create. Okay? So if you want to live a better quality of life for yourself and other people, even if you only live for 20 years, the point is to live out your fullest potential, being even the smallest person you can by making the biggest difference. In turn, that is what I have to say. And by that, usually most people tend to rid themselves of addiction, because once they give themselves over to a higher power such as God or another entity, no longer addiction has a hold on them. It is not their God anymore. Heroin will not be my God. Heroin is not my God. Heroin will not control me, and heroin will not take my life. It may have taken my sisters, but by God, I will make sure that every other person on this world will get to hear my fucking voice, if that's what it takes to save them. And if they hear me and they do not decide to get better, at least a fucking bulb flickered in their mind, and that is all I would like to do. And I don't, you know, this is where spirituality comes in, and people like this that have actually been turned over by reading literature that actually has helped them. This is where it goes into educating people on how to read and helping people in third world countries, because it all comes back around. It's a spiritual process that comes from there to here. So now that I've gone on my tangent, but yeah.
Yeah, one other thing that I had to say too is that in the Bible it states that the first comes last and the last comes first. When you think that you're in first place, you think you're better than somebody else, you're actually falling behind them. Yep. Because you have to stay humble. Mm-hmm.
Staying humble is the best thing you can do. And I'm 100% guilty of not being humble. I am 100% guilty of being poisonous and toxic and selfish. And by getting my stories out there and helping other people like him and other people to tell their stories, this makes me bigger but smaller, because now my purpose is a lot bigger than just what I bought on Friday or how big my paycheck was or how cool my job is, because I want this to be my job. In the end, this is what I love, and I love people like him that I used with at one point that I went and picked him up and, you know, did actual drugs with him, and now we're here talking about some sort of recovery. That is exactly what I want to see, because even just that is a turnaround. So I'm so thankful. We are going to be back on next week. He is going to be talking to you about some more things involving the lessons he's learned from the Bible, different things to do with the labeling of mental health issues, and how he got to this point. And let me just tell you this, okay? You do not have to be perfect. And I will say this over and over again. I do not care if you smoke pot. I do not care if you drink on the weekends. I do not care. A step is a step. Stop labeling yourself and saying you are not getting better because you are not up here when you are here. If you are here and you are rising, you are getting better. Learn that getting better is better than before. And you have mistakes. You will mess up. You are human. It is in your coding. It is in your DNA. Now, you have mistakes to learn from them. That is the point. That is why we have destruction, so we can overcome that and we can learn from it. So if you choose to learn from the things that happen and the mistakes you make, you will help other people and you will help yourself, and your life will get better, because you are the controller of your world in the end by giving up the power, if that makes sense. Okay. So anything else you have to say? I kind of went on a rant, but you
Yeah,
I didn't need to.
I agree, you know, but I think that I'm pretty much good until we can get Mikey. We can
Yeah, next week we're going to be featuring,
Mikey Paternosh.
and he is an expert in,
He actually is, I believe, a missionary. He travels around to like Buffalo and stuff to preach the word. He's been through some stuff himself. He's had family that has fallen to addiction. He's got testimony, you know. His word holds value too.
Thank you. Thank you for watching, guys. We're going to be back on next week. I'll probably be back on tomorrow with another interviewee, and you will see my face every day. If you would like to buy a shirt or donate, feel free to get a hold of me. If you would like to be featured, get a hold of me, and just know that your donation is going to go to the Lockport Overdose Awareness Rally. If you would like to sponsor, it is $50 for like a 1x2 inch part on the back of the shirts I'm going to be selling, and you can make a difference. If you would like your company out there, let me know. I have a couple people already ready. If somebody you know has passed away, you would like their name on the back, it'll be $40. We'll figure it out. If you can't afford it, let me know. We'll figure it out.
It's never too late to ask God for forgiveness either.
It's not. It's never too late to get better. Thank you.